Is this a familiar scene for your home? I have way too many bags and nowhere good to put them. Fella, what are we gonna do? Let's go make something. Hey, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Brenna, and for those of you who do know me, I'm still Brenna. So as you saw downstairs, I have way too many bags. I'm obviously not going to keep all of them, but I do need a place to keep the ones that I do find useful around the house for trash bag liners, dog mess bags, and just other things that are useful. So I've come up with a pattern that all you need are 2 fat quarters. You could even do it with just 1, but I'm going to show you how to do it with 2. So this is what we're going to be making. It's a plastic bag holder. It has a hole in both the bottom and the top, and they just pop out, maybe, like so. And then once you want to reload it, ta-da! So that's what we're going to be doing. And you'll actually be making 2, so you can make one for you and one for a friend, or just keep both and put them in your house. I'm not going to tell you what to do, I'm just going to show you how to do it. So first things first, I'm going to go put these in the washer because I like to wash and dry my fabrics before I use them in case it gets dirty. Then I don't have to worry about the stuff that I'm making shrinking. You'll also want neutral thread that goes with it, whatever. A rotary cutter would come in really handy, along with a rotary ruler. You'll need 4 to 8 safety pins. So I'm just using small enough that will fit onto my 1/4-inch elastic. And then I'm going to be turning up the edges. And I like to use my handy dandy little non-sponsored Press Perfect by Clover. It just has little measurements so you can figure out where you're pressing up on your fabric. If you don't have that though, you can always just use a sewing gauge and pin it up to however much you need it, and then use pins, and be careful, my goodness, be careful not to iron over the plastic parts because that's really bad for your iron and for the pins and for the fabric that it's on. What else? Oh, I'm going to be using Dritz quick turns. Again, not sponsored. I'm just showing you the tools that I love to use because it makes sewing so much easier. So much easier. And a rotary mat and a sewing machine. I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, I'm going to go throw my fabric into the washer and then the dryer, and then I'll see you guys real soon. Howdy, hey there. My fabrics are now fresh out of the dryer. So I'm just going to trim off the little strings that won't let them lay straight, and then press my fabrics so that they're nice and straight when I square them up. Well, maybe. Waiting on the iron. You happy yet? There, that's better. You're just my shadow today, boo-boo. You don't like thunderstorms, do ya? I'm sorry. Alrighty, that one looks nice. So now I'm just going to make sure that these are both straight and the same size. And they're not. So we'll fix that. Hello and welcome to my messy sewing area. I just have one edge left to square up, and then I'll show you what to do. Okay, so mine is about 20 by 17 and a half. So I'm going, I'm going to cut mine in half on the 20 length side, so I'll have 2 10 by 17 and a half. Right like that. So set this aside, and now you're going to cut this piece in half again. So that will be 5 inches. And now set this aside, and you'll cut 2 inches off of one of these. So this will be your hang tag, or hang Hanger. Sure. Alrighty, so we're back at the iron and we're going to take the 5-inch piece and both the yellow and the blue, or both of your colors, and then the smaller piece that you cut the 2 inches off of. For this portion of the ironing, we're going to be making the casing for the elastic that holds the paper bag, or the plastic bags, in. So you'll want to use either I'm using my Clover thing, or you can use your seam gauge, and you'll fold up first 1/4 of an inch and then 3/8 of an inch. And you'll fold up each piece on one side. So on your big piece you need to fold up one edge, and on your small piece you need to fold up one edge. And then I like to go over it once more like that so it lays nice and flat. Ta-da! Alright, and then let that kind of cool off so you don't burn yourself like Brenna does. And then fold up 3/8 of an inch, so it's just the notch between the 1/4 and the 1/2. And I just do that so there's enough room, there's some wiggle room for the 1/4 inch elastic. And now you will take, the larger pieces and pair the opposite color with it. So you can do chain stitching, which is where I will go along this edge very, very close, stitch that one, and then without cutting my thread, I'll go on to another edge, and so on and so forth. So you'll match your blue and yellows edge to edge this way, and sew that seam 1/4 inch away, and you'll also sew this one 1/4 inch away, and the same for the opposite color pairings. Okay, so now at this point I'm going to sew the casing closed where I'm going to put the elastic, and I will also be folding the hang tag over, if I can grab it, and sewing 1/4 inch seam allowance on that also. So here's what I mean by chain stitching. When you're finished with this piece, don't cut it off. Just start your next one. For the hang tags, don't iron it. Don't iron it down so there's a seam there, because we'll be ironing it in a different way, and that'll be kind of a pain to try and get out. So there's a great example of chain stitching. So I have all my casings sewn, so I'm just going to match up these edges, and I feel more comfortable with a little bit of a pin action on each side, so that's what I'm going to do. And you'll want to have right sides together, so where the fabric is more dull is what you want to see facing up. So I now have my rectangles sewn together like so. So I'm just going to iron the seams and then push the seam allowance towards the larger piece. And then you'll fold your piece in half and place a pin there. And you only need to do this on the smaller side. And then fold to the pin and place another pin. On both sides of the smaller portion. And then you can take this pin out. This is so we can see where we want to place the hanger. Hang tag thing. This guy. So I'm actually going to flip him out. Flip him right side out. So with this little nifty tool, you just place that in a ways. Push that up. And then it pops through up here. It's trying to take my sleeve with it. And then place those out of the way. You'll iron this down and try and get the seams to cooperate with you. I like to push them to one side. And then the ugly seam will be hidden. It won't be on the outside, on the hanger. Alright, so we want it to be like this. And fold that up the opposite way, like that. So then you'll sew, well, I didn't do this on my example one. I didn't fold it up at all. So you don't have to. It doesn't matter that much. I guess you could fold it this way. But then you'll just, anyway, just stitch along this line with this there on both of your pieces. Now comes time for the elastic. Woohoo! So I cut my elastic to 6.5 inches a piece. I found that was a pretty good distance, and you'll want 2 safety pins per piece of elastic. So you'll take the safety pin through the elastic, and now is when you'll start sliding it through the little casing that you made. And this is why it's important that you did not sew into your casing area for your strap. Because if you did, your elastic might not fit. So when I get about 1/2 inch away from the edge, like there, I take my second safety pin and pin it through the fabric on both sides and the elastic, just so I don't lose that elastic end, since this is so much smaller than the piece that we're working with. Then when you get to this side, pull it out about 1/2 inch or so and do the same that you did on that other side. So now I have all 4 pieces of my elastic in. So I'm just going to pin these right sides together on the seam lines in hopes that maybe my seams will turn out straight, but if not, who cares, it'll be on the back. It's just kind of a good way of practicing matching up seams. It takes a little bit of finagling to get the elastic to stay put while you're trying to sew it, but I believe in you. I know you can do it. So here are my finished grocery bag holders. They're inside out right now because I'm going to show you how I snip the elastic. So as you can see, there's a little bit of elastic sticking out, and that doesn't really look nice, and it kind of shows up. So I pull it nice and tight and then carefully snip it, and then it just kind of disappears. So again, hold it up. I don't think you can see that. juggling here. Alright, so I hold it up, stretch it out, and snip it. And then it just kind of disappears. I think I said that twice, but oh well. So now on the bottom, I'm going to do the same thing. And then I am going to flip it inside out. Or right side out, whatever. Oh, I think I might sneeze. Oh, oh. No? Oh, excuse me. That was a yes. So here is my finished happy little bag. Ta-da! Pretty exciting, right? Wow, I did good on matching my seams. Let me know in the comments how you did. I found that as I was sewing, if I pinned the elastic, like had it and then pinned it and then took the safety pin out, I could reach it a little bit better, and then once my foot was on top of that area, I would take the pins out so I wasn't sewing over pins, because please, please don't sew over pins. It's so dangerous. Even if you wear glasses, it's just not the best idea. So yeah, one of these for me holds about 30 standard bags. Just that size. So there you go. Now you've got 2 grocery bag holders. And they're easier to get to, easier to get out, easier to put in. And it just looks cute. So yeah, I hope you guys had a good time today. Thank you so much for watching me, and I'll see you guys later.